Okay, was haben wir jetzt als letztes gemacht? Das weiß ich schon wieder gar nicht mehr. Ah, das sind ja auch noch Quests, genau. Aber wir machen erstmal die Nebenquests hier. Spät haben wir es.
Watch where you're going.
So, zu D. Was ist eigentlich J? Ach so. Ist das außerhalb? Nee, das ist innerhalb der Mauer, ne?
We're after you. Give up.
Wieso?
Easy now. I surrender. You're a wanted man. So, you wanted a fight, eh? Pay up, or I'll show you what we do with scum like you. Once we get that dealt with...
Huh? Okay.
All right, Now show me what you've got. Let's see if you have anything stolen on you.
Huh?
All right.
Davon haben wir aber gar nicht
This
gesprochen.
is all right. That, but I don't...
Wait a minute. Davon haben wir nie gesprochen, dass du mich durchsuchst. Das ist doch Beschiss.
Be careful. Careful!
Stimmt, wir wollten ja auch gucken eigentlich letztes Mal, wie unser Ruf überall ist. Oh, Kutenberg ist nicht gut. Oh.
All right. You caught me. I surrender. Ah, so pay up. Once... How dare... Oh.
Come closer, don't be shy.
Come and take a gander. We've got it all.
Gucken, ein bisschen was verkaufen. Damit wir wieder das Dings hochziehen können.
Show me your...
I was glad to be of help to you, good sir.
Nice.
Be careful.
Was ist das denn hier für eine Gegend? Huch. Noch höher? Oh, dann komme ich da nicht lang.
Be careful.
Fischer. Was ist denn hier? Abgebranntes Haus? Oh.
Be careful. It's not safe here.
Why is this all sticky?
Are you being cautious? Coward. Maybe you're not playing for the first time. Can't be.
It's
Gucken, wo ist denn Ratte?
filthy,
Da?
that.
Ist das Ratte? Ja.
Here we are. Greetings.
I've got some charm.
And the price? Good.
Show me your.
Die hat ja gar nicht so viel, ne?
All the time. And he's always threatening to leave everything to the church if I don't go and see him.
Aye. Once old folks start getting soft in the head.
Be careful.
Well, come to your senses yet?
Oh, fuck you. I'm telling you.
Damn.
This is the place. There's a lot of blood and some footprints. I'm not sure how much more I'll be able to find. Christ, that's a lot of blood. But after seeing what they did to the girl, I'm not surprised. I'm not sure I'll be able to find any remains. I wonder what happened to them. I can't make anything out of this. The whole town's been walking around here. There could have been one killer or a dozen. I'm surprised I haven't completely trampled out the
Meine
blood.
Schuhe sehen komisch aus.
It's hard to make out, but I think I see some slashing from a blade. So, there's still a lot of blood left, but I expected even more. I found some faint blade marks. Either the others were trampled out, or someone skilled was wielding it. It didn't look to me like any remains were left lying around. I've no idea what he did with them. Did he keep them or throw them away?
Hier kann man echt durch die so in die Stadt denn reinkommen. Interessant.
You shouldn't be walking around by yourself.
Ich denke mal, in die Kirche kommen wir hier nicht rein, ne? Oh. Schade eigentlich. Sprechen wir mal erst mit der Freundin, bevor wir da diesen Lumia aufsuchen. Kannst du mir jetzt immer noch was beibringen? Nee.
Are you Barbara? I'm told you knew Alice.
Alice. Aye, she was almost like a sister to me. We served together for years in the same house. Why'd you ask? Who are you?
I'm trying to find out who did this to her. I'm afraid the killer might want to go after my friend as well.
Ah, I understand.
Who did you serve?
Our master is a local merchant. He is trying his hand at trading wine.
How did Alice get along with your master?
Fine. Just like with everyone. Our master is a bit strict, but he's fair.
What's his name? Can I speak to him?
Why? But you can't see him anyway. He's on a trade trip to Prague.
It occurred to me that maybe he could have done it.
No, he couldn't. He was gone when it happened. He hadn't been home in several weeks. And besides, why would he kill them others too? He never even knew them.
I heard about that. And also about Lumir.
Well, if you're interested, go and see him. Maybe you'll catch him sober enough to talk sense.
Do you know of any suitors she might have had?
I know she was seeing someone. Why?
I'd like to talk to him as well.
But I don't know who it was. Alice said he was rich and dressed nicely. But she promised him she'd never tell anyone his name.
And you never saw him?
No, never. I don't even know where she met with him.
Do you know what exactly happened to Alice?
No. Nobody saw or heard nothing. One day, she just didn't come home. And then, they found her. Like this.
It's awful what they did to her.
She was such a pretty girl. And that beautiful brown hair of hers. And it didn't even leave that untouched. Who could have cut off her hair like that? And why? None of it makes sense.
So, I'll leave you to mourn in peace now.
Okay. Das heißt, jetzt müssen wir den Verehrer finden. Oder den angeblichen Freund. Nichtsdestotrotz würde ich gerne ein Wort wechseln mit den Herren von ihr. Nur weil er nicht da war, heißt es ja nicht, dass er es nicht war.
Lumir?
Oh. Christ, my head. Not so loud.
I need to ask you something.
I said not so loud. I have a splitting headache.
That's some hangover. He's useless to me like this. Unless I'm willing to wait for him to sleep it off, I'll have to get him some kind of... This should sober him up. Here. Drink up. Better?
What? Who? What are you doing here? Who are you?
My name is Henry.
And what do you want from me?
I'm trying to find out who killed a certain girl. And I was sent to you.
To me? What for?
Are you Lumir from the Rat House? The scribe?
I used to be. Now I'm just Lumir the Madman.
Warum sagt man das über dich?
They say that about you. Why?
Because I was just on some wild goose chase. And what came of it? Absolutely nothing.
But I need your help.
If I were you, lad, I'd leave it be. You can't help that girl anymore, anyway. You'll just end up hurting yourself.
Come now, Lumir.
Poor girls. Nobody was all that interested in it, except for me. We let it be in the end. We let a monster walk among us. No way. You can't solve this yourself.
I'm not doing it for myself. I'm afraid he might kill one of my friends.
A friend, eh? That's not good. Not good at all. I searched high and low. And what did I get out of it? Just mockery. What makes you think you can find out more than I did?
Because I'm Henry. Aber es hört sich so an, dass du der Spur anscheinend ziemlich nah warst. Und dass sie dann gegen dich gearbeitet haben. Weil, warum würdest du sonst jetzt auch so einen Ruf bekommen, dass du irre bist? Ich kann den Menschen die Wahrheit entlocken. Ich bin ein schlauer Kerl. Nichts wird mich aufhalten.
Because I'm stubborn, and I don't have any other choice. I'll get to the truth, no matter what.
You think that will suffice?
If not, I'd have been dead long ago. Bled out from a human arrow.
All right. Talk to me. Who was this dead girl?
Her name was Alice. She worked as a maid.
A maid? That fits. Yarka was a maid, too. As were most of the other victims. What did she look like? What did he do to her?
I think that he strangled her first, and then went at her with a longer blade and disemboweled her.
Did you notice the strangulation right away? It took me a while. Maybe you really will track him down.
Do you think it's the same murder?
Counting your girl, that makes 6 victims who were first strangled and then mutilated. If it's not all the same person, they must be collaborating somehow.
This is the 6th one. How long has he been killing?
Probably about a year now. Sometimes it takes him months, sometimes weeks. But I'm including missing girls. Stanya and Zdena.
Okay.
Why are you counting the missing girls?
Because I think someone killed them, and we just haven't found them yet.
Did the dead girls have anything in common?
Aside from being pretty young girls with no proper family or background, no. I couldn't find much.
Do you think somebody is killing them because they're poor, and nobody will miss them?
Certainly. If somebody killed the daughter of a local lord, no stone would be left unturned.
But why does he even kill in the first place?
I don't know. Maybe he hates women. Damn it. I feel like I'm going in circles and can't get out.
What can you tell me about Yarka?
She wasn't the first. But thanks to her, people started taking an interest. She was a maid in a German family. By all accounts, she was a pious, polite girl. She was
Okay.
orphaned as a child. The priest from the Church of St. Peter and Paul, Father Prokop, raised her. They found her body tossed behind a barn at the edge of town. She was cut all the way from her neck downwards. An awful sight to behold.
Did you have any suspects?
At first, I thought the son from that family did it. The murderer is usually someone close, you know. But then I changed my mind.
Why?
Well, for one, I remembered the two girls before her who ended up almost the same. Besides that, when I talked to the lad, he seemed he wasn't the least bit interested in Yarka. Then his mother told me that they threw her out a week before the murder because she was a harlot who stayed out till all hours of the night. That really surprised me, because Father Prokop had vouched for her good reputation. But who knows? Maybe he just didn't want to admit what had become of her.
What about Stanya?
She was an alehouse wench in a tavern of ill repute called the Hole in the Wall.
You said her body was never found. Maybe she just got out of town.
You have no idea how much I'd like to believe that. Only there was a lot of blood. Unfortunately, the investigation wasn't very successful. The Hole is a world of its own, and the people there aren't very forthcoming with information.
Did you suspect anybody?
You could suspect every second man there. Those people have nothing but thievery and deceit in their eyes. The innkeeper, Mole, definitely knew Stanya, since she worked for him. But he isn't all that chatty either.
So if I want to learn anything more, I have to ask this mole in the hole.
Yeah, he still runs the place.
And what about that Zdena? You said her body was never found.
Exactly. But to tell the truth, nobody spent much time looking for it. Besides Alice, Zdena was the most recent victim. It's only been a few weeks since she went missing, but I suppose nobody wanted to do any more digging.
But if her body was never found, how do you know she was killed?
Because she was the same type as the other girls. Maybe the prettiest of them all. Young, beautiful. A real live one. Lively as the devil. She was a thief. A pickpocket. I never could pin it on her, though. She always found some way to get out of it.
Maybe she robbed the wrong people and had to get out of town.
Maybe. She had a partner in crime by the name of Strunad. Quite a number. He's always sitting in the hole, boozing. When I asked him about Zdena, he told me he'd rather rip his own tongue out than talk.
Do you think he'd be more forthcoming with me?
He might be. You're not known all over town like a catchpole. It's worth a try. Besides, it might still be fresh in his memory. That would be a great help.
Also, das Einzige, was bei den dreien jetzt zusammenpasst, ist, dass sie jung und hübsch waren, aber kommen aus komplett drei unterschiedlichen Dingen. Und die eine sozusagen eine Diebin war, die andere war eine Magd und die dritte war dann in der Taverne unterwegs und gleichzeitig eine Hure. Oder andersrum. Die eine war eine Magd und dann eine Hure.
And what about the other two victims?
It all started with them, though nobody did much about it at the time. The first one worked as a bathhouse maid. They called her Chestnut. She'd only been in town for a short while, and nobody really knew her. So I couldn't find out anything more. But the other one, Libushka, she was from Loretz. She was a maidservant, too. I also talked to her mother. She said she was really cheerful and outgoing. There were lots of suitors circling around her, but she refused them all. She knew she was pretty and knew she could do better than some farmhand.
You mean she wanted someone higher up?
That's what it sounded like. But her mother never found out who she had her eye on.
Interesting. I'll try to see what else I can find out from the mother. Where can I find her?
In the graveyard, lad. The poor woman died of grief. It's sad to say, but we can't help those two dead girls now. And they can't help us with our investigation either. There's nobody else left who could tell us anything about them.
Why were you looking into it? Who were those dead girls to you?
I don't know what people told you about me, but for many long years I was a scribe for Kutenberg's bailiff. Kutenberg is a big city with a lot of people. Silver, silver, silver. Mining it, smelting it, stealing it. There's always something going on. The bailiff was always running from hell to Hades, from one rich man to another, settling their quarrels. Often trivial nonsense.
But there are more than just rich burghers and lords in the city.
Exactly. There are common folk, too. There's a lot more of them, and their troubles are usually more serious. So when one of them came to the bailiff's one time, and the bailiff was running around somewhere, I started to deal with it myself. I was pretty good at it, too.
Behind the bailiff's back.
Not really. Andreas supported my activities until... recently.
What happened?
I don't want to talk about it. Sorry.
Did you have any suspects back then?
You can always find some suspect. I always dragged the most suspicious ones to the body in the morgue by force. And they threw up at the sight. Or fainted.
Couldn't it have just been an act?
Fainting? Vomiting? That's hard to act. I'd swear none of them did it.
Can you sum it all up for me?
We have 6 victims here. And I believe they were all murdered by the same killer. Unfortunately, we only know a little about the last 4, the most recent ones. By now, we won't learn anything about the first 2. Of the remaining 4, the first to be killed was the maidservant, Yarka. She was raised by Father Prokop from the Church of St. Peter and Paul. He should know the most about her. The next were Stanya and Zdena. Their bodies weren't found, but we assume they also became victims of the same murderer. They both hung around a tavern they called the Hole in the Wall. Stanya was an alehouse maid, and Zdena a pickpocket. And the last victim is Alice now, also a maid. What they all have in common is that they were young, beautiful, and brunette.
Good. I know everything I need to know.
When you learn something more, stop by and see me. You've aroused a bit of hope in me, lad. I hope you won't disappoint me.
Mm-hmm.
Let this happen.
You have to believe that this is all part of God's plan. He tests